Today we're going to learn about area. I can find the area of a rectangle, I can find the area of a parallelogram, and I can find the area of triangles. Area, the number of square units covered. So basically I need to find out how many squares can fit in my shape. And in this case, as I fit the squares in, I can get 5 across and 2 rows. So I end up with 2 going this way and 5 going this way. And 2 times 5 is 10. So I end up with 10 squares. With area, we always use our units and we always square it because I'm actually multiplying whatever my units here with my units here. So my units will always be units to the second power or units squared. So let's start with a rectangle. You probably have learned the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. We're going to try to always use base times height. So in this case, my base is 14 and my height is 6. So I end up with 84. Now we don't have any specific units, so we're just going to use U for units. And again, remember area is always squared. So that's the one you should know. Let's look at a parallelogram now. The biggest thing you need to know is this. I want you to put this in your notebooks and star it. Base and height have to make a 90-degree angle. If I don't have a 90-degree angle, I don't have a base and a height. If you look back at the rectangle right here, so I have a base and a height. This one, the parallelogram, doesn't have a base and a height because it doesn't make a 90-degree angle. So this is not my height. But if you look at a parallelogram, what's kind of cool is if I slide this over, I end up with just a rectangle. So I can use the exact same formula. Area equals base times height. But let's move this back and see. Then how do I get a height? You will notice in a lot of parallelograms, basically what happens is there's just a dotted line through it. And that dotted line then creates your base and your height, because there's my 90-degree angle. So if that's the case, this is my base no matter what. So in this case, I have 12. Now my height, I'm going to have to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My height is 8. So I would times by 8, which will give me 96. And in this case, I have meters squared. So you need to always remember, if I don't have a 90-degree angle, I don't have a base and a height. So now let's look at triangles. What happens with triangles? Well, remember, we always start with the same idea of area equals base times height. Okay, so let's look and watch what happens to the triangle. If I take this triangle and I double it and spin it, I will always end up with a parallelogram. It doesn't matter if it's a cute triangle or if it's an obtuse triangle. If I spin it, I will always end up with the same shape, which is a parallelogram. So if I know area equals base times height for a parallelogram, I have half of one. So it would be 1/2 base times height. You may have seen it before as base times height divide by 2. Either one is correct, but we're going to really start trying to use the 1/2 base times height. So let's try an example. When you see a shape, the first thing I want you to think of is name the shape. So in this case, this would be our parallelogram. Okay? 2, what is the formula for a parallelogram? Well, the formula for a parallelogram is area equals base times height. So now I can plug in. The base is 7. What is my height? Is it 5 or is it 4? Well, remember, a height always has to be a 90-degree angle, so it's going to be 4. So in this case, the area is 28 units, and remember, always area is squared. Stop the video now and try the next one. Start the video back up when you feel like you're ready to check your work. All right, so let's take a look. It's of course a triangle. It doesn't matter that it's a right triangle, an obtuse triangle, and acute triangle. All triangles have the same formula. The formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I take 1/2, my base in this case is 7, and my height, I have to decide between 11 and 8. Well, again, it has to make a 90-degree angle, so it's 8. I could plug it in a calculator as 7 times 8 and then divide 2, or I can multiply in any order. So 1/2 of 8 is 4, and 4 times 7, again, is 28 units squared. You now have your worksheet to continue with.